Thank you, Mr. Speaker. You know, this Patriot Act really speaks to our very core identity as Americans. How do we balance what makes it special to be an American, our unprecedented levels of rights that we enjoy, our privacy as individuals, our civil liberties? How do we reconcile that with staying safe in an incredibly complex world? It's critical for any of us who are concerned about the unchecked growth of the state, those of us who seriously believe in protecting the rights and liberties of Americans, to seriously look at these issues and debate them. And a no vote on the rule in the bill is the first step towards accomplishing that. You know, the House was in session late into the night and likely will be again tonight on a very important topic, cutting spending. I've put several suggestions forward. I appreciate this process as it enabled members to come up with how we're going to cut. There's been a lot of great ideas that have been submitted through amendments. I would submit that this Patriot Act and balancing our civil liberties with our security is as important a topic to what it means to be an American than making cuts in our budget. I voted against the adjournment resolution yesterday, and I think that if we were in session next week and put the time into solving the issues under the Patriot Act that we're putting into making budget cuts, we would be able to come to a consensus that protects our civil liberties and also keeps Americans safe from the threat of terrorism. The majority argues that we must pass this extension now without any process. It's also been alluded to that there were not hearings in the last Congress. There actually were. The Judiciary Committee held 2 hearings on the Patriot Act in 2009. It's been said, oh, there hasn't been time to hold hearings in this Congress because the Judiciary Committee just constituted itself. Well, they found time to hold 10 hearings on items that have not even come to the floor. So surely there would have been time for 1 hearing on an item that everybody knew was going to expire and needed to be dealt with. Those of us who joined Congress in the last session, as well as our new members this session, many of whom are on the other side of the aisle, have not had any classified briefings on how this authority that's been given to the federal government has been used. How can we exercise our meaningful oversight with regard to these 3 provisions of the Patriot Act and the Patriot Act in general if we're not given the benefit of finding out exactly how these broad powers that have been given to the federal government have been used? If this passes today, and I expect it might, it's critical that we take the next 90 days to make sure that Congress can properly execute its oversight upon the next need for renewing the necessary provisions of the Patriot Act. There is a window of time that will afford the Judiciary Committee to do its work in a bipartisan way, to include other members through a classified briefing to find out how and when the powers under the Patriot Act have been used, so that members of this body can make an informed decision about how to move forward in 90 days with protecting our rights as Americans and protecting our security as Americans. The two are not irreconcilable, and we cannot sacrifice what makes it special to be an American in the name of security, or the terrorists have won. I urge a no vote on the rule in the bill.